Two sides, in recent weeks certainly, evenly matched. And as far as the first half has gone here at Bloomfield Road, it's Halifax who have had the edge. What response will we get from the Centurions now? As Nanin's restart, almost a tricky one, almost wrong foot. Danny Jones, he just gets it at the last. And Bannister then continues the good work for Halifax, looking to pick up this trophy for the first time.
Well, the indication at half-time is that Ian Millward will have to earn his money and direct his troops, because in that first half they were outplayed by a Halifax side who played the ball faster. They were willing to work hard for each other, and the amount of players that push up and they're in the frame for that pass, anticipating any breakdown in play. Leigh need to make a go of this second half if they want to win the Northern Rail.
Well, Ian Millward knows all about winning this cup, because in 2006 when Leigh won against Hull Kingston Rovers, Tony Benson was the coach, but Ian Millward was working in the background, a bit like Brian Noble is for Halifax with Matt Calland. Well, Rod Studd is on the sidelines and he's got the half-time news now.
Well, thanks, Bill. Yeah, no surprise to hear Matt Calland say, well, it's all going to plan so far, but we've got 40 minutes to finish the job off. So he's very pleased with what he's seen so far, and no wonder, really. In terms of his defence, he's very happy. They're working hard in defence, and the completion rate has been very good. Just watching to see if something comes from this Leigh attack. Bill, you might want to take up the commentary again.
Here is Robbie Hunter-Paul, back with Rod shortly. Ellis, Ridyard. Still Ridyard, eventually is tackled by Bannister on the last now, and Ellis will stab the grubber kick in, and Ben Black very coolly lets that one go. Donlan was chasing. Let's go back to Rod on the sidelines.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Yeah, as far as Leigh are concerned, and Ian Millward, it was interesting to hear him say that he reckons Leigh have frozen a little bit on the big occasion here, and he's surprised that they've done that. He said that Halifax have been more clinical than them and they'd kick better than them, and those are the two areas he wants his side to improve in, but they've got a lot of work to do, Leigh, from 10-0 behind.
Well, that was a better kick from Leigh, but still too strong. Here's Dylan Nash, once a Gateshead Thunder, and before that a Toowoomba Clydesdale. Sam Barlow, once a Sheffield Eagle. Really is a character, Barlow. Sent off against the Bradford Bulls in the Challenge Cup for a high shot early on, as the kick comes in and Donlan comes across, and then on all fours takes the tackle eventually from Jones.
Well, Stuart Donlan, he is a very, very brave player, but look at that for a tackle.
Barlow again.
They are just not getting on the front foot. The markers are working hard. The tight three defenders are pushing up very fast. You see Robbie Hunter-Paul, he's trying to organise. Get big David Mills crashing onto the ball.
Here is Robbie. That's a good ball, and Duffy trying to put his foot to the floor. Just didn't have the pace on the last, and it's Goulden who'll put the kick in. It's not a bad effort from Tommy Goulden. Picked up by Paul White, and White, bright run from him.
But Bill, that sums up Leigh's performance in this final. No disrespect to Tommy Goulden, but Tommy Goulden getting caught on the last play and kicking, it was straight to the winger.
Littler scrags a fullback Greenwood. Warrancy then. Penkovic to Black, but Black virtually stationary when he took that ball, gets the ball out the back to Dylan Nash, and Nash puts a good kick in, and Nash will chase it, and Donlan comes across, and Nash on the follow, trying to steal the ball, in fact, from the fullback.
Well, he did have the right. The ball at no point touches the floor there, and Dylan Nash cheekily trying to take it out of his grasp. There's the big fella. I'm just watching the Leigh players trying to figure out what they've been told at half-time and how they've responded to that. And one of the real important things is they're trying to get outside the A and B defender. You look, he's right at C defender there. I think it's Steve Nash who gets that ball. They want to get away from those big fellas in the middle, because Halifax's A, B and C ruck defence is really dominating Leigh.
Kick down the sidelines, and it's fielded by Greenwood, and Greenwood really do have some pace at the back to Halifax. Here comes Mr. Pace. Warrancy. This time he can't make so much progress. Slithers a few more. Oh, and then that's a real mess at the play the ball. He was too busy looking at the referee there, Rob Warrensey.
See, I don't know. He's asking the referee. I constantly say, don't expect the referees to help you out. Your job is to play that ball. He's right. There is interference from Duffy and Hunter Paul. But just play your ball. That's his only mistake of a fantastic 45 minutes.
And the Leigh supporters trying to lift their side early in the second half here. Leigh trailing by 10 points to 0 as David Mills takes the tackle from Paul Smith. And Sam Barlow. Nash is in there as well. Ridyard now. Goddard off the line quickly to make the tackle on Ellis it was. Littler on the 10-metre line now. Bit of rain now coming down again. The referee penalises Sean Penkovic.
Well, this is what Leigh needed. Take a quick tap.
And Littler goes for it himself. The cheek of it. He almost got there. And Robbie Paul is clattered. What work that was from Penkovic. Almost got the ball as well.
I think Robbie Paul was shocked what happened to Stewart.
It's before the watershed.
I think Robbie Paul's asking to come off. Just recovering from that neck injury. It was a big shot from Penkovic.
They're not done yet, and Ellis is through, and Ellis will get their first points of this Northern Rail Cup final. And he salutes the Leigh supporters, and they salute their scrum half. He'll be joining the black and whites of Hull next season, but he's got a job to do in the Centurions colours at the moment, and he's got them on the scoreboard. Ellis with his 26th of this campaign.
Well, Halifax can't continually give field position and penalties away. That one's for hauling down. Stu Littler wants to get up and play that ball. And this is a really smart read from Jamie Ellis. Comes from one side of the ruck, over to the other. There's a bit of foil in there as well. Smart read from Ellis and a poor read from the Halifax defence. Get in there, Ian Millward says.
That's more like it, says the coach and the supporters. And now Mick Nannin. 109 already this season. Once more racking up the points. He's got 620 points in Leigh Centurions colours. Over 3,000 career points for Nannin. And this to narrow the gap. Difficult kicking conditions, as Danny Jones has already experienced, and so too for Mick Nannin. And that shows how difficult it is, because you would normally put your house on Nannin landing that one, but Ellis with the try.
Well, Rob Warrensey will be furious with himself. It was him who made the mistake, but you can't slide off on Jamie Ellis. You've got to get up, you've got to get in his face. You can't just stand back, be flat-footed on your defensive line. And conceding a try like that early on.
Jones's restart, oh, wicked one, and Goulden, I think, was conscious of the fact that the touchline was right next to him.
You bang on, Bill. We can't be too harsh on Tommy Goulden there. He's two things to think about. Where is the line and where is the ball? And unfortunately for the Leigh Centurions, he drops a simple catch. You see McGilvery, he's almost trying to lean back in for him.
And right from the restart, Leigh, having done all the good work up the other end of the field, are on the defensive as Jones goes across the field. Good work by the try scorer. It was Ellis with the tackle on, the fumble from Goddard. In front of those Halifax supporters, and John Goddard, another man who knows all about this final, curses himself.
Well, we say that the play the ball, that's the focal point. That's the start of every play, and John Goddard just trying to play this ball too quick. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. Unfortunately, he couldn't gather the ball.
And the Leigh players were asking for a penalty then. Godden, who played the ball, then picked it back up after the knock-on.
It is, they've got possession from the scrum. Oh! Well, that's Blackpool Rock,
well, that's what we talk about with Mikel Yezu, don't we? He just gets off the line and runs into the opponent as hard as he can. And Tommy Golding's probably one of the toughest men that's playing in this game. He felt that one, though.
He's still quivering out there, Tommy Goulden. He's just adjusted his scrum cap again. Vibrating, I think.
It made Blackpool Tower shake, that one, Bill.
Well, that's the 5th tackle. And Ellis, his try has lifted the spirits of the Leigh players and support. Greenwood did well then because he was really under pressure.
They've lifted in this second half. You can tell how much a side wants it by how much they're willing to. Look at that! What about that for defence? Robbie Hunter-Paul, Chris Hill, they're all getting together. There's high fives going everywhere. If you want to win a final, you've got to be prepared to defend. And there's 3 players there. He wouldn't let Goddard get to ground. And just the push and the commitment from all the players. There it goes. Get that into you, Chris Hill.
So the goal line dropout, and indicative of the pressure that Leigh have mounted in this second half. They've got the try, and now they've forced the goal line dropout. And here's Nash. This time Barlow can't connect.
Well, everything in the first half was going Halifax's way, but this is a different Leigh side in the opening 10 minutes. They're playing like the team that we've watched all this year. Ian Millward, the speech that he gave at half-time has certainly inspired his team. And a good run from Chris Hill, again poking his nose through the line.
Robbie Hunter-Paul. Ball goes to ground, and it's still going further to ground, and Jones is chasing it. It's almost back to the halfway line. Now then, has the referee wiped the tackle count clean? No, tackle count continues. So Leigh have lost big chunks of territory there. They're looking to regain it now with Ellis. Across the field, Ellis. Nash gets a hold of him at the first attempt. That's the 5th tackle. Paul Smith completes it. Ridyard, and frenzied pace to this game now. Ridyard's kick is a good one. McGilvray is in touch, surely.
I think he is, but my word, this final has gone up about 3 notches in the last 5 minutes. I think he's unlucky here, McGilvray. My first impression was his knee was in touch.
Do you know what, though? You can't give up on a kick. No matter whether you think it's going to run dead, Dean McGilvray makes this in to a fantastic kick. He's onside. Does he keep in play?
You know,
No. He's looking at the camera.
He's had hard luck there. Great presence of mind. Not so much for Rob Warranty in the Halifax shirt.
so close to a 4th successive try-scoring game. McGilvray.
Well, clearly you can see his foot goes into touch. That's a correct decision, but different Leigh mentality in this second half. They're willing to jump on every ball. They're first to the breakdown, and that was good play from Dean McGilvray.
And they're really getting into the faces of the Halifax players. In fact, Stephen Bannister complaining to the referee that he was literally got in the face there, pointing to his mouth a moment ago after a challenge. Here is Jim Gannon in his 3rd consecutive Northern Rail final. Gannon. As the kick is fielded by Donlan on his own try line, and Donlan under pressure, and it'll be another goal line dropout. And Donlan just that little fumble, and it gave Halifax the chance to force that goal line dropout.
I'll tell you what, everybody sat at home, everybody sat in this stadium was thinking, they're coming again, yeah? Tremendous response from both teams at half-time. It's a thrilling match.
Matt Calland approved of that response really from his side. But look at that goal line dropout, length of the field. And Cherryholm wearily thinking he was going to maybe get the ball on the halfway line. He's virtually on his own try line.
Well, Mick Nanning's done his job there. Now he wants his forwards to take over. That was a good effort to prevent Jim Gannon going any more yards forward.
You know what I'd say? Cherryholm, catch it on the front, on the full. Let that ball bounce. Good shots.
They've got the rewards. Greenwood puts the ball down, and Duffy snaps it up. Hill. Here's Tom Armstrong off the bench and into the action.
Well, it's Golden and Farnley. It's Farnley who comes over the top and they just lose the ball.
Hill, good pass out of the back door. Finds Duffy, Duffy to Nash. And Nash is tackled by Warrensey. Here's Duffy once more. Ridyard, Nannin. Loves getting that pass there so he can trundle onto the ball. Ridyard. Short ball finds Nash, and Nash wrestling for it. Bezic doing a good job there to stop him offloading. Duffy going down the short side, finds Nannin. Nannin back in field and ricochets. Referee wipes the tackle count clean. It's 6 to go for the Centurions. Really are applying the pressure now. Thornley driving towards those Centurion supporters. Hill, a good drive from him, and over the line. They'll miss him. And Chris Hill showing why the Warrington Wolves have snapped him up for next season. That familiar red scrum cap. Gets his 5th try of the 2011 season, and what a crucial one that could be. And it's all stemming from that massive goal line dropout from McNannin.
There's no finesse to this. Late footwork, beautiful balance. He knows where the try line is. The important part of this second half, and it's not as important as it is vital. The Leigh Centurions players are playing towards their home fans. Halifax likewise. You can feel the wave. Whenever the players get near the line, their fans are willing to play us over the line. Chris Hill, hard and strong with good footwork, gets his first try.
McNannin also in a red scrum cap. 4 scrum cappers in the Leigh side. Tommy Goulden wears one, James Taylor, Chris Hill, and this man, McNannin. Yet to land one today, but this should be his first 2-pointer. Has the tide turned here? Just over the prom from Blackpool Pleasure Beach. And it's Halifax 10, Leigh 10 now.
Well, Bill, you're right. You can trace it back to this mammoth kick-out, drop-out from McNannin. Look at the length, look at the distance on that. They failed to catch it on the full. They put themselves under pressure. McNannin, he offloads the ball. It's played at by a Halifax player. It goes back, and Chris Hill, he goes at Gannon, he goes at Paul Smith. And what about that for an effort from the prop forward? Leigh are back in this game.
And what about the chances of extra time? It's Halifax, it's got to be extra time. We had extra time in the grand final last year when they pipped Featherstone Rovers. We had extra time in the semi-final of the Northern Rail Cup this year when they pipped, sorry Featherstone fans, Rovers again. Do you know, I'm told that in a guest house not far away from here, there's a Featherstone Rovers fan staying this weekend who booked his hotel ahead of the semi-final, and he was determined to come to Blackpool anyway, but he's not come to the game.
He didn't want to waste his deposit, Bill.
Here's Ellis with the kick. Littler is chasing this. Greenwood goes back and has to thump that dead. The Centurions really do have their tails up here now, but a voice of calm on the sidelines.
Well, momentum is everywhere for this Leigh side now. And Halifax are just trying to stay. Look at the shirts. 3 red shirts near that ball, and Miles Greenwood has no intention. Just get this ball off the island. Let's calm it down. You can almost see in his body language the relief. And that'll go right the way through Halifax.
And Halifax can't get the same sort of distance on their goal line dropout as Leigh did. It's McGilvray denied a try in this second half. Crabbing sort of run across the field, and he's tackled middle of the park on the 40-metre line. Here's Thornley now. And Halifax really can't break free of the pressure they're under at the moment. Desperately trying to slow the Centurions down, but that's a struggle, and Goulden making good progress there. They're finding yards easier to come by in this second half as Goulden plays the ball in a somewhat not square sort of position, you have to say, but the referee didn't see anything untoward in that. Ellis, Ridyard, checks. Kick perhaps coming across the field from Ellis. It is. Hoist that one on the win. Warrancy under pressure, takes it well, but can't get out of trouble, and it'll be another goal line dropout.
Well, you look at Dean McGilvray then, he stops Rob Warranty, but watch Andy Thornley come in. Rob Warranty catches that ball, it's a good take, but Thornley comes in and pushes him over the line.
But does McGilvray have a hold of him when he's in the air?
I think that's okay, Bill.
Just check if he's in the air.
I think the referee's having a look at it, Bill.
Just check if he's...
It's a good spot. McGilvray has hands. I think it possibly is.
He's hauled him down as McGilvray has gone up, as Warranty has gone up, and in fact, the referee, well, that's credit to referee Matt Thomason, because he's gone and consulted Phil Bentham, I think, there.
He's a very good referee, Matt Thomason. He's continuing. You can hear him talking to the players. Here it is. He got it spot on, Bill. He did initially go up for the ball, McGilvray, but you can hear him all the time. He's talking to the players, work with me. He doesn't want to be giving penalties away. They've not come to watch the referee. They've come to watch two teams play in a final.
So the relieving penalty for Halifax, but can they get play up the other end of the field? They've struggled to do that really in this second half, certainly since Ellis got over the try line and Leigh started to build up a head of steam. Coming up to the hour mark, 10 points apiece. 10-0 it was at half-time. And Bezic. Black, here is Barlow. Well, it's been a tempestuous day on the northwest coast today with the wind, rain, and it's a pretty tempestuous game here as Jones gets the ball wide to Goddard. Goddard kicks ahead and White is chasing this, but in fact it's Maiden who picks it up and Maiden will counter. Maiden on ankle tap from Bezic was enough to stop his progress.
Everything was going for Halifax in that first half, and that little swipe out of the ball from Paul White, that would have come off in the first 40 minutes. Unfortunately, he didn't connect. Leigh have the ball back with good play from Steve Maiden.
Ben Black doing well there to stop McGilvray's progress, but here comes Chris Hill.
Do you know how many times does Chris Hill put his hand up to carry the team and the battle forward?
Leigh fans thinking that was a high shot on Taylor, but the loose forward just shrugs that one off. Is it 6 to go? It is, says the referee. Nash played at that one.
Well, the last time this happened to Halifax, they couldn't defend the next set of 6. Here it is, charge down.
And already the pressure is mounting. Duffy, here's Thornley now. Wants a Wigan Academy player. Duffy, Ellis. This time they're not going to allow Hill another sniff of glory. He's immediately tackled by Gannon. Duffy going for it himself. That's the 5th tackle right in front of those posts. Hill is struggling. You can see him there in the middle of the shot. He's signalled to the bench. Ellis with the kick. Oh, and Bezic who has to secure it for his side, and it'll be another goal line dropout.
Well, there are a couple of Leigh plays. John Duffy, he's having attention from the physio, but again, Andy Thornley in defence. John Duffy, Chris Hill took a couple of knocks in that last set of 6, and there's two players that's very influential for this Leigh side, and I'm sure Ian Millward will be getting the message out. Come on, mate, if you can get anything through this game, make sure you do it.
Time on.
That's a better kick. But here comes Taylor. Runs into the tackle of James Haley. Cherry home there as well. Now McGilvray. 10 points apiece here between these two championship heavyweights. Halifax, the reigning champions. Okay, they might be struggling to make the playoffs this season, but still, certainly in this second part of the campaign, a formidable side. And Leigh Centurions, who have been formidable all season, but that's not from Tommy Goulden. Had Cherry home right in his face.
Well, Tommy Goulden, for the second time in about 5 or so minutes, isn't expecting the ball, fumbles it, and unfortunately the pressure is released on Halifax, who were struggling. And Tez, you're absolutely right. John Duffy, there's Ian Millward, look at the reaction on his face. John Duffy, Chris Hill, and I think David Mills have took the battle forward all day. Mills is on the sideline. When he comes back, he'll trundle it forward, he'll take those tough carries, and while ever this game is in the balance, Ian Millward will want and need those players on the pitch.
Here's Goddard, hasn't done badly considering this his first game for a month after that rib problem. Greenwood flattened on his own 40-metre line by Taylor. Now Gannon. Gannon and Hill have been really going toe-to-toe. Fantastic confrontation that has been. Bezik's kick sits up nicely for McGilvray.
Well, there's a lot of sting in these tackles now from both sides. They know now that there's only 17 minutes to go. It's 10 apiece. It is anybody's game, and it'll come down to who wants it the most, who's going to be the most disciplined.
We've had some great close finals in this competition. Of course, last year's was the ultimate 25-24, Batley winning, but 18-16 in 2005 when Hull Kingston Rovers beat Castleford. That was another close one. 2006 final was close when Leigh beat Rovers 22-18. We're on course for another one here. Into the final quarter of the game, on the last tackle, and Ellis puts the kick in. Too strong, that is.
Well, I think the players and coaches, and even us in the commentary box, can take a breath. John Goddard just on Halifax's left. If he doesn't get an ankle tackle on the Leigh Centurions attack, I think they make another break. It's relentless pressure on both teams, swaying and tipping from one side to the other. Fantastic defence.
Warranty can't make any progress. We're back with championship action on Thursday. In fact, this Thursday, of course, it's Batley against Featherstone. It's third versus first. That should be some game as well. 7:30, Sky Sports 4 on Thursday, that one is. Warranty, that'll be a penalty.
Well, Andy Thornley in this second half has been very, very impressive. He's not giving up on most plays, but on this one, the referee had called held.
Well, I had a crack at Rob Warranty. Just after the half-time, I'd said to him he needs to crack on and play the ball, not wait for the referee to penalise. Andy Thornley in your screen there, what he did, he played his ball, Rob Warranty, and Andy Thornley was in the way. And Matt Thomason blew the whistle. No wonder he's tired. I'm tired.
Here's Gannon. Gannon runs into David Mills, two big men going toe-to-toe there. Jones will have Halifax weathered the storm here because they were really hit by Typhoon Leigh. But Matt Callan, Martin Gonzalez, Brian Noble looking pretty calm there. Matt Callan, in fact, has played in this competition. He was a Hull Kingston Rovers sub when they lost to Leigh in 2004's final. Here's Barlow. Now they're attacking the end, the north stand, where the Halifax supporters are sitting. Jacob Fairbank, dual registered with Huddersfield, of course. Huddersfield beaten by Bradford today, 36-0. Here come the Halifax side, and it's Warranty who is in the corner. They've been on the rack, and they've turned it around, and the coach is on his feet. And Rob Warranty, with the try in the corner, simple fall over the line for him for his 21st of the campaign. He's been a thorn in the Centurion side this season. He got 2 tries in the championship game last month, and he got 2 tries in a quarter-final win against Leigh in 2009, and he's put his side in front. He's in a little bit of discomfort, and I have to tell you, Rob Warrency was actually in hospital last week after a training ground incident that left him somewhat injured in the lower abdomen. That might be the legacy of that.
And they say that our rugby league players are overpaid. Not on your Nelly. All these balls are difficult to catch. They're all at the line, under pressure, with Leigh defenders heaping pressure upon them. Rob Warrency, he's the final recipient. He's the one that gets the try. But Jacob Furbank, who's been, for me, the young player of the year in this division so far, takes a tough carry, plays his ball quick, and gives the big fella the chance to put the ball over the try line. Matt Callan can even afford a smile. It's not over yet, Matt, not by a long shot.
Difficult kick for Danny Jones, right out on the sidelines. It hasn't been a day for the goal kickers, that's for sure. Swirling wind. Have to say well done to the ball boys here at Bloomfield Road, who spent most of the half-time chasing balloons around the field, popping them, and they got every one of them. But Jones, well, this one will swirl around in the wind, that's for sure. The Halifax fans salute that one. What a kick that is from the sidelines by Danny Jones. Could be crucial, those 2 points. 16-10, Halifax leads. Warrency, the try scorer, he scores some spectacular ones. It doesn't matter how they come.
Well, Dean McGilvray, the Leigh winger, has had a very good game, but he needed to have more confidence on Martin Ridyard, who was defending inside of him, and all he had to do was look up and defend against Rob Warrency, hopefully to prevent the try for Ian Millward. But this game is not over, as Barry quite rightly said. 12 minutes left.
Halifax have yet to trail in this game. They led 10-0, they were level at 10-all, 16-10. Meaning to keep it that way now and secure their first Northern Rail Cup final win. And of course, what a crucial time it would be to do that. Licensing decision time coming up very shortly. Bezick's gone for a 40-20. It was out on the full, only by the fractionist of a fraction.
That was unbelievable from Bob Bezick. On the third play, he chooses to go for the 40-20. And there's not much in it.
Ambitious, too ambitious perhaps. They'll bring it back, head and feet to the Centurions. Well inside the Halifax half.
Miles, make sure you're in.
Still time, still plenty of time for Leigh to come back into this game.
10 miles head in, sorry. Stay in, let's go.
They'll feed the scrum. And here is Mills standing out of the scrum to take that ball, but Gannon was quickly on there.
I think in the first 40 minutes, David Mills was one of the few players in a Leigh shirt that kept trucking the ball forward, and he made meters after contact, kept his leg drive, got down, played his ball quick, and gave his halfbacks a chance.
Thornley, Taylor now, and Halifax back on their own try line defending now. Duffy, Leigh looking to hit back once again. Thornley about 5 meters out as he plays the ball. Here is Ellis, Ridyard now. Ridyard, long ball out wide to McGilvray, but the cover comes across in time. McGilvray heads back in field. That's the 5th tackle. Is it going to be a crossfield kick to test Paul White perhaps this time? It will be. They're chasing it. They've got it. Have they got it down? They can't. Armstrong, I don't think, can get that down. He's held up, says the referee.
It's John Goddard who prevents Tom Armstrong. And you could see the numbers Halifax getting back. They knew that the kick was coming. Look at John Goddard. He gets underneath Armstrong and won't let him get that down. Paul Smith comes in. Paul White adds his weight.
I'll tell you what, who would be one of these wingers on a day like this? Those high field kicks, you know that 3 of your opposing players are hunting you down. Goddard just saves the day for Halifax.
Leigh now determined to force the error. Adam Hickson on to make the tackle on Greenwood. Barlow doing well to keep possession under pressure there, and Warrency is through. Warrency is clear. Player held back in back play. Warrency He will take him on, but then loses his footing. The referee could bring it back, you know.
He's played advantage, Bill.
He has. On the last, Black gets the pass away, Jones gets the pass away, ricochets off the feet of Goddard, and it'll be the turnover.
Well, the coach is asking Martin Gonzalez, Matt Cullen, I think it was Bob Bezic who's taken out in backfield, just watch him. Stuart Littler pulls him back. Well, a chance gone begging for Halifax. They might feel hard done to, but what's the reaction?
Oh, and there's a player down, and it's Jacob Fairbank who put a big hit on David Mills and came off second best. He's back on his feet.
And there then runs that Barry was talking about. When you know that you're going to get battered, as soon as you get that ball a couple of yards from your line, someone's got to take it forward. And David Mills has been putting his hand up right the way through this game.
Bezic still furious after that decision or non-decision, making a good intervention there at marker to make the tackle. Ellis, oh, lovely ball from Ellis to Hickson, but Hickson couldn't make any progress. Ellis with the kick, straight down the middle of the field. Again, Bezic flinging himself in to make the tackle. Did just enough. Greenwood, Robbie Hunter-Paul with the tackle on him. Time running out for the Centurions. You can see Bezic held back there by Littler.
At what point do you go back? At what point has the advantage gone? I think probably the referee was correct to think that Leigh were on the ropes. But with everything that's going on, we've missed a marvellous piece of play from Jamie Ellis. We tried to get Hickson away, look one way and pass another, and they broke the line again.
Here's Penkovic, and are Leigh tiring now? Is this where Halifax turn on the afterburner? And look at Taylor, desperate. Callan looking on, and maybe he's observing that as well. James Taylor was desperately trying to get it back into the defensive line there. Duffy is struggling. Leigh maybe running out of steam. And then Jones going for it himself, knocked on. It'll be the turnover. It was on the last.
That's a dreadful decision from Danny Jones. He did have pressure in front of him. He did have Leigh players in front of him. You've got to kick the ball into the pockets. Wet weather rugby. I know it's not raining too much at the minute, but it's about absorbing and applying pressure. And at the minute, Leigh are about to apply some pressure.
There is Danny Jones. Hickson now, well, he's got plenty of energy, just come off the bench, or recently come off the bench, and Duffy seems to have found a second wind. Here's Ellis, and Tom Armstrong dual registered with St Helens. Fourth tackle as he plays the ball. Mills out the back, swooped on by Robbie Hunter-Paul. He did well there. The referee's right, the tackle counting. He says there was a Halifax hand in there. This is a great opportunity. Littler, unbelievable, 163 consecutive appearances for Salford City Reds during his stint with them, but now back home with Leigh and hoping to earn some more success. A winner against Doncaster in 2008, Stuart Littler. Here's Ellis. Right in front of those posts, the Leigh fans urging their side on once again. Can they get back into this game? Don't have far to go, there's only a try and a goal in it. But it's determined defence from Halifax. The kick from Ridyard is a good one, and Ellis is it. It is a second, right under the posts. And the referee checks with his officials and awards the try. And Jamie Ellis, who'll be playing in the black and white of Hull FC, signing off for Leigh with a barnstorming performance. Second try of the night, perfectly weighted kick, well read. He's going to have some competition at Hull with Aaron Jeremiah and Brett Seymour signed for next season. But this young man looks as though he might be up to the challenge.
Well, let's have a look at this back to one. I think this is a tough call. David Mills offloads this ball and it hits the elbow of Danny Jones accidentally, but nevertheless, it's 6 to go. And from this, a fantastic kick from Ridyard, and Ellis, he knows where that ball's going to be, and all he has to do is work his socks off to be in the right place at the right time, right in front of the Leigh fans.
And Nanin thumps that one home right in front of the Leigh fans, and we're level again, 16 points apiece. We're heading for extra time once again, unless somebody can come up with the decisive blow in the last few minutes here. Thoughtful Halifax coach, but he's seen it all before, as has his opposite number, Ian Millward. I'm not sure Ian Millward has gone to Golden Point in a final before, but even with all his success, it'll be a new experience for him. The restart from Jones slithers across the pitch.
They'll just look at all the key players for Leigh Centurions in Martin Ridyard, Ellis, Duffy, Robbie Hunter-Paul. They're all bouncing, they're all on the front foot, and the man who's got the ball now, he's got them on the front foot, and David Mills.
Ian Millward has been in a close fought grand final though. 1918, Saints against the Bulls in 2002. So he knows about the nail-biting side of things. The Leigh fans urging their side down that end of the field. The charge down by Jones, and it's 6 to go.
Well, there's always a debate on charge downs. Do you go to put pressure on the kicker, or do you actually go for the ball? Halifax look like they've come out with the mindset, we're going to try and get the ball, and it's bit them probably 2 or 3 times already. Danny Jones, he's not going to get that ball even if it ricochets right for him.
Duffy looking for some sort of option there. There was nothing, everybody was static, and John Duffy really is struggling. He's, I think, playing through the pain barrier here now then.
There's a drop goal coming, Bill.
That's for sure, because the wind, if there is a favourable wind here, it's with the Centurions. It's swirling around, but this could be the best opportunity. Ridyard has dropped back, but he's struggling for space, he's struggling for accuracy and distance, and Warrancy coolly traps that one. And then it's up to Halifax now to see whether they can get up the other end of the field, but that is going to take some doing now.
Let's give some credit to Bob Bezic. He got out, he was at marker, he put pressure on Ridyard and forced him into an untidy kick.
3 tackles gone. Halifax really struggling to make some progress. Oh, Dylan Nash, a speculator, right across his own line. Well, his own 20-metre line, I should say. Gannon.
You don't throw a ball like that when you're 20 yards away from your own line with 2 minutes to go, playing in a final.
Danny Jones just thumps that one down the field and trying to get it away from his own territory, but Donlan picked it up on the full. Nash on the follow-up. It's a high shot. Touch judges on. Don't need to tell referee Thomason that.
What's Dylan Nash doing? They worked very hard. They got down there in numbers. He had to come up and execute a better tackle than that, knowing that there's not long left. Gifting possession too late.
Ridyard thumps this one into touch. On this west side, Matt Callan heading down to the sidelines. They've got just over a minute to try and settle this. Robbie Hunter-Paul dancing his way forward. He's seen everything in this game, but he hasn't been to a Golden Point extra time yet. It might not come to that. They're getting into a good position here at the Centurions. Ellis is pointing to Ridyard in the background. Ridyard wants it. Again, he's struggling to speed. They're running it. They're going to decide it with Littler. Littler gets the pass away. They're in the corner, and it's young Tom Armstrong who's won this game for the Centurions. The player dual registered with St Helens has settled in at the last. They thought the one-pointer was coming. Instead, it was Armstrong who has landed the victory for the Centurions and their delighted supporters. Halifax stunned. Armstrong's 10th of the season. Gannon, a loser last year, cannot believe it. And Armstrong looks to the skies. Jubilation for the Centurions. The hooter has sounded. Nanin will still try and land the goal, but just when you thought that it was going to be extra time here, Leigh chanced their arm.
Well, Halifax had to get off the line. Danny Jones comes out, leaves a big hole. Bill, in my opinion, this has been the best Northern Rail final. Definitely the best one that I've watched. Stu Littler offloads the ball. Tom Armstrong, just look at the delight. Ian Millward, I saw Paul roll here. There he is with a yellow shirt. Leigh through and through. What an absolutely fantastic final.
And Nanin has landed 2 more points just to rub salt in the wound. And guess what? Leigh have led for less than a minute in this final, and they have won it. Unbelievable. Halifax dominating in the first half, leading 10-0 at the break. But a battling performance in the second half has stunned this Fax side and their supporters. It's a cruel, cruel game. They have given their all today, but Leigh, not their best at times in this game, certainly not in the first half, but they've battled back in the second half. And they had the guts and the skill to chance their arm at the end. And Matt Calland, who was heading down to the sidelines, cannot believe what he witnessed right at the end there. He was thinking that it was extra time, but it wasn't to be. What a performance in the second half from this Leigh side, who've turned it around. Armstrong's winner, but what a game from young Jamie Ellis. 2 second-half tries, man of the match from him, and he is with Rod now.
Jamie, well done, man of the match. There's the memento that goes with it. What an unbelievable final, what an unbelievable win for Leigh.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a tough game. We know Halifax are a great side, and I think we made it hard for ourselves in the first half. Didn't really complete any sets, but we trained hard all week for it, and thankfully it's paid off.
Can you tell us what happened at half-time, what was said at half-time? Because it really was a massive turnaround from the first period.
Basil just said we need to complete our sets. We kept making too many errors, but we just had to complete, and it's come off for us.
Your 2 tries made a big difference, obviously. We know this will be your last season at Leigh. You're moving on to Hull. It's going to be a good way for you to lead the club, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was good, but I thought 1 to 17, everyone played well. I think it was, I should have got man of the match. I just think it was a team performance.
Just tell us about what the feeling was when the try was scored right at the end.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I don't know. I don't know.
Well done, Jamie. Thanks for talking to us. Here's Ian Millward. I'll tell you what, you leave it late, don't you? You didn't lead any point to that game until about 30 seconds from the end. A good time to take the lead, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they were very good in the first half. I thought they were very clinical. All the occasion overawed us a little bit in the first half. We sort of played very, very safe, and it was a bit like, if we just do a little bit of this, we're entitled to win the game because we've been playing well all year, and half-time was really good for us. I thought they were great, but it's 80 minutes, isn't it? And you could notice in the second half we're playing a lot more. Our defence was strong most of the game. We just had to change a few things in attack. So I'm really proud of the guys, you know. It takes a lot to hang in there like that, a lot to hang in there, especially when they scored that try very late.
Ian, there's been a lot of trials and tribulations at the club over the last few years with the relegation, and also this year when, you know, obviously Arthur Thomas said he was leaving the club and the finances. This must make it all worthwhile for you, mustn't it?
Yeah, today's not about just today. Today's about people like Arthur Thomas. All those people are involved with the club. It was Alan Rowley, all those people involved with the club. And it's about the people who have come in with energy to try and help it go forward. More importantly, it's about the players. They've been the ones who have been fantastic since the start, so they've been unreal. So,
they're all calling for you to go over there. Go on, Ian. Enjoy it.
Hopefully we'll see some people back at the stadium tonight, and the guys enjoy, I think, a couple of days off.
Oh, goodness me. Well done, Ian. Thanks very much.
It looks like he's got a lot of enjoyment out of that one as well. The jubilant Ian Millward. Well, what a performance from his fans, from his players. The crowd jubilant. Second 40 minutes was so different to the first. A totally different side came out after Ian Millward's half-time talk. Jamie Ellis, man of the match. As Rod said, they never scored, they never took the lead until the very, very end of the game. What a wonderful occasion. Halifax, that will be difficult for them, Terry. They had a great first half. That second half, Leigh came out as a storm. Looked like Halifax had weathered it.
They're shocked. They're absolutely shell-shocked because Leigh have come out and they've hit them with absolutely everything in that second half. And David Mills, I thought he took the battle to Halifax. He really did take it to him. And Ben Black shaking his head. They've tried everything, Halifax, in this game. But the first half, they were definitely the best side, without a shadow of a doubt. but the second half performance from Leigh, that's what a championship side's all about.
Barry, you talk about teams coming home with a wet sail. These men certainly did.
It was a fantastic, I'm absolutely shattered watching it, the highs and lows and the emotions that the players have invested in it, and they've backed the coaches, they've backed the players to the hilt. There's Robbie Paul about to get the cup.
Robbie Hunter-Paul, that is, they're all going up. John Duffy, they'll all get presented with medals. Stuart Donlan, the captain, will be the proud man to lift this trophy. There's been difficulties for the Leigh club this year. We've heard about all the well-documented financial troubles, but this will put all that to the back of the mind. Chris Hill, he played his part in this game. Jamie Ellis off to Hull next year, playing Super League. He was instrumental in the turnaround in that second half, as was that man in the background, Big David Mills. First team to win this trophy 3 times after a decade of Northern Rail Cup finals. As I said in the build-up to this game, the games rarely disappoint. McNannon successful with his kick, unsuccessful with a couple more. Stuart Littler instrumental in setting up that final try for young Tom Armstrong. As Ian Millward, he's won Challenge Cups, he's won Grand Finals, World Club Challenges. I'm sure he's got a kick out of this one. And the captain, Stuart Donlan, he'll receive the trophy from Mr. Steve Butcher. Leigh, Northern Rail Cup final champions for 2011. He'll take the trophy to his victorious teammates. They have deserved it. Halifax played their part in a wonderful encounter. Disappointment for Halifax, Terry, but this will be all about Leigh tonight.
You know what, they'll come back stronger, Halifax, but it is all about Leigh. When you come to finals, it's about lifting that silverware, and Leigh Centurions have done that. And if you look back to 2009, Leigh finished near the bottom and they were relegated, but it was gated because they went into administration. They had a reprieve, Leigh Centurions. They've built and they've got a very, very good side, and here they are today celebrating with the success of lifting the Northern Rail Cup.
Jubilation for the Leigh team, disappointment for the Halifax side, and disappointment, I'm sure, for their coach, Matt Callan. He's with Rod Studd.
Matt, thanks for talking to us. I know it's a dreadful time to be a coach when your side's lost in the last couple of seconds. Just put into words, if you can, how you're feeling at this moment.
I'm really proud of the players. I don't think rugby league's a cruel game there, and we just thought Ridgey had come up with a really good play to run it there instead of dropping the goal. They just nipped us at the end, but we'll bounce back from this.
I mean, you led everywhere by the line, really, and dominated the first half and bounced back really well from them pegging you back at 10 each.
I just thought we stopped completing our sets in the second half, and we didn't squeeze like we have been doing in the first half, and we just, they just got us. Anybody could have won that game. Could have gone either way, and they just picked us at the end. So, it was a good game, but we just weren't quite there.
There was a couple of calls that went against you. They went back to one before Jamie Ellis scored, and there was a pullback, wasn't there, when Warrancy made the break?
So, yeah, that should have been pulled back. Well, I've just talked to the ref, and he said he played advantage because he thought we were going to score, so he couldn't go back to it, you see. So, you can't win them all. It's not our day today, but we'll bounce back from this.
Thanks for talking to us, Matt. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, disappointment etched on the face of Matt Callan, but he can be very proud of his team's performance. The jubilant Leigh side celebrating with a huge travelling support